Hello, hello, hello. Oy. I can't hear you, Felicia. Uh, so while Felicia is trying to fix her audio issues, welcome to season 13, episode 4 of Live with Fefe and Freddy. Um, Welcome back to the Wednesday night conversation that you don't want to miss, especially this evening. We have some stuff to talk about. This is Live with Fefe and Freddy. Felicia is over there trying to fix her audio issues. We don't know what the issue is. And I am Freddie Prince Charming, and I have opinions. Today we've got a packed show lined up. I've got a few things that we're going to be talking about are things like keeping ourselves together, because, stuff. Post-election recovery, what's next, and more. So for those of you that are watching and for joining us live, we always love the good, we love the interaction. So we have a couple of questions for you, and we'd love it if y'all wanted to put your answers into the chat. How are you feeling after things? This is a safe space unless you tell me that you're feeling awesome about it, in which case fuck you. But other than that, this is a safe space. So tell us how you are feeling, how you are doing, how are you sort of there you are getting through things today.
So
we'll come back around to the folks that are chatting with us.
I am just like you, Holly. I am terra motherfucking fied.
Yeah.
And if I'm cussing, then I I am terrified. I'm back. This time it wasn't the computer, it was the button on the mic itself. So there we go.
Okay.
Suzette says, "Oh, feeling like I can't trust anyone anywhere because," and it goes on to say, because how he could have possibly won, and I believe we all will be talking about that soon enough.
So going into a little bit of the housekeeping, just so we can get it done and over with. If you want the VIP treatment, you can get exclusive content on our Patreon at patreon.com/live with Fefe and Freddy. There's some fun merch and stuff being released on Patreon with the new logo. If you are a closer look, which is the $5 membership or more, if you get that, then you get a sticker after 3 months of being a member. If you take the deeper plunge or tickle the G-spot, then you get a sticker, a mug, a t-shirt, a tote bag that'll all be sent out via Patreon within your first year of membership, which is really cool.
And we'd like to thank our patrons, Brandon, Cassandra, Chris and Michelle, Dee, Drake Jensen, and Michael, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Madam Askew, and the Grand Arbiter, Nicole, Patricia Mason, Shannon, and William. Hello. So before all the disaster, how was your weekend?
Yes, I mean, it was stressful because of stuff. But we went and helped out Madam Askew at UwuCon because they had a steampunk booth, but apparently a lot of folks had to bail last minute. So
I call that opportunity.
Right. She messaged me and asked if Dee and I were able to help out at all, and we said we could. So we went for a few hours on Saturday and then for a few hours on Sunday. It's an interesting little con. I don't know that I would spend money to go, especially not the entire weekend. It's a very small.
So what is it?
So it's UwuCon, and I guess it's primarily like anime based, but they're trying to kind of expand
Oh.
it.
Oh.
But it was like it was super small, and like they could have done everything seriously in like one day. It didn't. I don't know that it needed to be a 3 day con. And it was
So
like
like anime con, but like small.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it was interesting. People watching and things like that is always fun. Um, I had
Oh.
rehearsal. The show is coming along awesome. Tickets drop today, so if y'all want to go check those out, the link is on my thingy. We'll be talking about that. Plus the code where you can save a few bucks. So there's that.
Mhm.
And then yesterday, because we had every intention of mailing our ballots, we didn't. We
You had an interesting day yesterday.
it was. So we didn't. We missed the deadline to mail the ballots, but not voting was not an option. So on the way to urgent care for me, I'll get into that in a second. We dropped off our ballots, and it has got to be fucking illegal
For what?
for fucking MAGA assholes to be basically. You have to walk through them to get to the ballots.
Oh, for real? Like intimidation.
Oh no, for real. It was fucking I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, and they were kind of just all over, just hanging around. You had to walk through them to get to the it was fucking stupid. That shit should be illegal. You should not be allowed to do that 100%. But, whatever. Um so urgent care, I went to urgent care. I ever since Pride, I've been having some off and on pretty severe back pain. Um, and Monday
Yeah.
night, it was really bad. Like, was it Monday, Sunday? I don't know,
Ye
one of the two.
I thought it was like
Um,
Sunday.
Monday. It was Monday night. It was
Oh,
Monday night. It was hurting so badly that I could barely move. I couldn't really stand up straight. I could hardly walk. It was fucking awful. Like my at a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably at about a 9. Um, it was not okay. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll take tomorrow off. I'll go to urgent care. Um, so I went to urgent care, and we went to the Honor Health one that's over on Shea, because they're kind of connected to an ER. So they're
oh.
able to do a little bit more than just your standard urgent care. So
They
they
just
didn't have
slide
an,
you on over?
eh, pretty much. Um, they didn't have like the MRI doohickey, but I was able to get a CT scan of my back, which showed a couple of bulging discs, which is super fun, um, and some like degenerative stuff, which looks like arthritis. So that'll be fun.
Is your
Um,
OMD kicking in hardcore?
Apparently. So I need to follow up with a couple of specialists. I need to follow up with like an MRI and all these things. So yeah, it was super fun. So I got
Yeah.
that. I got a muscle relaxer and a shot of Toradol, and now I'm on steroids, which I fucking hate. And I have muscle relaxers, but I can't just take the muscle relaxers whenever because I will just pass out. And I took today off, but I'm going back to work tomorrow, so I'm just gonna have to kind of suck it up and deal. So if you see me shifting in my chair, this is why. It's because pretty much any position is uncomfortable. So yeah, super fun. Um, Fucking
Oh,
hate it.
wow.
Yeah. So I was passed out a good chunk of yesterday. Um,
Oh, Dee wanted to mention that, your partner who is still feeling sick took you to the ER.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
hmm Um, but I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and decided to check my phone.
You did that, huh? You did that.
Yeah.
Well, I did quite the opposite of you. I stayed up all night in hopes of, like, watching some remarkable, like, number shift happen, and then it seemed like it was making good headway, and then all of a sudden it just went full steam ahead, and I said at 2:30 this morning, I need to get some sleep, so I'm going off of, like, an hour and a half of sleep,
Oh,
but
fantastic.
Um, yeah, uh, it is. Somebody asked me how I was feeling, and it's almost like I went to bed with disbelief, and then I woke up with it. It was like having like
Right.
this, like, oh, that can't be really true, and then like I checked it again, and I'm like,
Fuck.
mm.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Good times. Yay.
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Um, what I what I feel like happened is that it's the and I was trying to explain this to Scott, is that there are some people and especially in middle America that feel like when candidates like uh, Kamala Harris run, they feel like it's like the bougie bitch that is, and I'm not saying that she is, and I'm not calling her names, so I don't leave my inbox alone. But like I feel like they feel like they weren't heard, and it's too bad that this is the alternative to that instead of somebody else.
Right.
Um,
I I don't know. I would love a recount. I feel something wasn't kosher about a lot of shit because a lot of things came in real fucking quick, and I'm like, I
mhm,
don't know.
mhm,
What I would like to see is once this year is over for Kamala to go back to being a prosecutor and maybe throw his ass in jail. That would make me happy.
mm,
He is a 34-time felon after all. So if
yeah.
she could get on that train, I'd be all about it. Like, go back to your old job, go be a fucking prosecutor, and throw his ass in fucking jail because he's a 34-time fucking
Um,
felon. And if felons aren't allowed to, you know, do basic shit like work at food service, then they definitely shouldn't be allowed to do this.
it, exactly. Yes. And it definitely does not feel real at all because this
Right.
is
And
just
Holly's
make
like, yeah, they told us it would be like a few days before the results. And all of a sudden, in a matter of hours, we have the results. I call some.
well, I heard that Nevada has like 4 days after the election to tally theirs. Is that true? Like they can
I have no
receive up.
idea.
Well,
I think I
I read
think
it
that's
read
I
it
think
last
that's
night that they can
true.
postmark, as long as it's postmarked by yesterday, that they'll
Right.
take it up to 4 days after the election day.
I think
That's
that's true. I think that I just think things came in much faster than they should have. So I call shenanigans, but what the fuck do I know?
yeah. Just another 4 years of misinformation and bullying and mistreatment of those in marginalized communities.
Can't
Um,
wait.
and I can't wait for big trucks to start zooming past because I felt like there was like an uprise of zooming trucks with huge wheels and liftedness during the
Mm-hmm.
era of Donald
Because they're
Trump.
trying to compensate for something, bless their hearts.
Mm.
Probably a decent personality and human decency, but have no human decency.
Uh,
Buy a very big truck with a flag on it, because that's what's
and
gonna make it
just
better.
run the people over that you don't want in the way. Just do what you want. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Um, yeah. So I felt like I was consoling a lot of people today. I felt like I was trying to get through my own grief, right? Uh, uh, hmm. For
Yeah.
those that are on anxiety medicines, if you need to ask your doctor for more, Annie up.
For the folks who are sober, please, please, please don't break your sobriety over this. There are
Mhm.
resources, there are people that you can go to, places that you can go to. Please, please, please don't break your sobriety over this. You've worked too hard for it.
Absolutely. So, uh, we're both here if you need to talk. Um, I don't. To to be honest, I don't know how much of myself I have to be lending out, but I'll do my best because
Yeah.
what I feel like is I'm processing in multi levels as a black man,
Mm.
as a gay man, also as a drag queen, because I believe it was during the Trump era that the Proud Boys decided that they didn't love me, but they really hated me. I think so. So, also over the weekend, your video came out, the Drag Story Hour video.
Oh yeah, that I did with Plume.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope. I did do that. I did do that. Yes. 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 Yes.
Poor guy has so
I
much
forget.
going on.
I know.
Uh, yes, your therapy appointment is going to be very interesting, and I imagine that my next appointment will be too. And I'm sure that therapists all around are getting ready to
Mm,
be ready for all of us.
yep. I'm gonna make a. If you're a therapist right now, I feel like this is an opportunity to start. Go get more clients. You're gonna make a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. And if you were thinking about getting back into practice, please do.
Right.
Um, we need the resources. So, should we go on with the tip?
Yep. Let's do it. Okay. So my tip tonight is called "So You Just Put a Fascist in Power Again. What do I do now?" Because the
Mm,
fuck. All right, I'm going to preface this real quick with an acknowledgement of my privilege. I have white male cis assumed privilege, and with all of my documents having the correct name and gender marker, I understand that not everyone has those privilege, and I want to make sure that I acknowledged mine so that it doesn't, I'm not just like, oh, I can do, whatever. So you can too. I understand that that is not always the case.
well, I should
So
do the same, I think.
I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that the privilege I do have, but the privilege that I do have, I try to use it to help as much as possible and educate.
I second that motion.
Um, so today I've actually been fielding quite a few texts and messages about things like name changes, gender markers, birth certificates, etc. So I would like to start there.
Hmm.
Um, if you have chosen to go by a name other than what is currently on your birth certificate and you would like that name to be permanent, I highly recommend getting it legally changed, especially
Quickly.
if the one on your birth certificate doesn't necessarily match the way that you present. Um, and it's not a matter of trying to force you into a corner. It's not a matter of trying to force you into a box. It's it's coming from a place of safety. Um,
Hmm.
just getting your name changed and changed on your state ID could actually save you a world of hurt and hassle in the future from everything from, you know, going to the doctor, going to the hospital, buying beer, anything that requires you to have an ID, traveling. Um, it, Comparatively, it's a relatively inexpensive thing to do, especially if you compare it to things like surgeries and whatever. You're talking about a couple $100 versus a few $1,000s when it comes to surgeries. um, a lot of areas have resources that can help you pay for it, and if you are not sure where to look, reach out and I will try to get you in touch with someone in your area who can help. But I absolutely would recommend getting your name changed as soon as possible if this is something that doesn't if your current if the name that you go by doesn't match what is on your birth certificate or your ID, and the name on your
I just
ID
want to
does
get your
not
papers
necessarily
in order.
pass the way that you present,
Hmm.
I promise it will save you a lot of hassle. Just get that shit changed. It's the easiest fucking thing. Just 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 do it. It is much easier than you probably realize that it is pretty much everywhere.
So
Anybody can change their name.
um, sorry, I haven't read all of your thing, but I do know that I saw today, and I meant to save them, but if I see them again, there are a couple organizations that offer dare I say, scholarships. Uh,
Right.
that's what I want to call them, to help you with name change and all of that.
Mhm.
Not there's some that offer scholarships for surgeries as well too. So, but in the sake of what we're talking about, um, there were a couple of organizations that I saw today that I think they were acting on as we are acting on.
Right.
Um, and if you can get your papers in order, as we like to call it, um, then you don't have to worry when said chaos
Right.
begins, because God knows what
Um
can happen.
so if you on that note, if you already have your name changed, but you haven't changed it on all of your documents, that's the next step. Um like you'd be I'm always kind of amused by the people that they get their name changed, but they then they don't really do anything with it. A lot of
How do
times
you
they don't even
mean?
change their ID. They just don't. And I don't understand it. Um you want to make sure that your state ID, your driver's license, social security card, those are the basics that you want to make sure where your name and gender marker um, align with what you want them to align with. You should be able to get your gender marker changed on your ID pretty much at the same time. So when you go in to get a new driver's license or whatever, when you put your name down, you can check that box that says M or F or whatever. I know a lot of states did have the X. I think a lot of states
Mm.
got rid of the X. Um,
Oh,
so
really?
for if you do not have the option for an X or something that is not within the binary, again, I'm speaking purely from a
Privileged
safety
speak.
point of view. Um, I would consider changing your gender marker to whatever is closest to the way that you present, purely for safety's sake. Those of us that you know that if you use non-binary pronouns, we know that already. um, but this is a matter, we're talking safety, and I understand that it's not ideal. I understand that it feels like you are minimizing your identity, and I get it.
Mm.
But
Well,
when
and
you
it's not
think about
intended to be
it,
that way.
right, and there is a potentially, after this bullshit is done, you could go back and make a, if things within your state change and you are able to select something that is not within the binary, do that at a later date.
I
It
imagine that
comes
some of the states are going to be like, "Hey, come move here if you want to
right.
do that."
Um
Mhm.
once you have, your ID, your social security card, those things all situated, you may want to consider applying for a passport. Again, you want to do this sooner rather than later. Get that application in now. Um,
I
Passports
need
are
to
good
add
for
that to
10
my.
years, and
Okay.
can serve as legal identification in any country, allow travel abroad. If you already have a passport, but it's set to expire within the next couple of years, I'd recommend renewing it early. I'm actually going to try and do that myself. Mine
Oh,
expires,
really?
I think, I have to double check. I think it expires in 2016. Um, and because that'll put
2016.
me, not 2016, 2026. Um, because that puts it right smack in the middle of shit, I'm going to try and see if I can renew it um
This year?
by the end of this year, so that I can have a 10-year
I don't
passport that
even
will get me
have one.
past
I
this
need to get one.
regime and then some. Um, Another thing, if you are able to change, is your birth certificate, and this one I've seen a lot of today. Um, Now, not every state will allow you to amend a birth certificate. Most will, but I think there are some out there that are still kind of weird about it. Some will allow you to do it with conditions. Um, for
Like
me,
in
I didn't really have to
Alabama.
do much. I was born in Michigan. I went online. Um, I submitted copies of like my driver's license and stuff showing my legal name, my gender marker, my paperwork for my name change, and I have an amended birth certificate. No big
Good.
fucking deal.
Oh.
Um, I know that Arizona requires you to have had a sex change, and you'll need a letter showing that. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Top surgery counts, whether regardless. So technically, does a hysterectomy. So
Oh.
if you find a trans-friendly doctor, they should be able to write that letter that states that you have had sex change surgeries. Nudge,
This is such a
nudge.
backward state.
Fucking stupid. Um, and that should be sufficient for you to change an Arizona birth certificate. That may work if you're in another state that also requires you to have had a sex change. But you need to find a good trans-friendly doctor who is willing to write that letter and word it correctly in order for that
Mm.
to happen. Again, if you need resources in your area, please reach out. I can try and connect you with folks that um, I think would be able to help. I can pretty much find someone in almost any area that can, if they can't help you themselves, like if they're not directly linked to an organization, they can help me find some place that can.
Mhm.
So some other things. So if you are trans, documentation, get your papers, get your name changed, get your ID, get that shit situated. Do not sit on that. Get it done now. Um, if you are partnered, and especially if it's a long-term thing, like I'm not talking about the dude you met at the bar like last
Hey.
Saturday. If you're partnered, you're probably going to want to make sure that things like living wills, power of attorneys, medical power of attorneys, all up to
The
date.
states.
Anything that will connect you with your partner, and this is not if this necessarily if you are or not legally married, make sure all of that shit is up to date. If you don't have those things, get those things. We need to get those things. These can all help protect you should something happen to you or your partner.
So I have had the worst thoughts today, and I have thought about all of what you just said in like the last 24 hours. Hmm.
Yeah, we're back to this again. Um, Legal marriage could also be an option. We've also seen that anything can be reversed and repealed at any time. So I don't know that, even if you are legally married or plan to be by the end of the year, make sure that all of your above paperwork is complete because we've all seen what kind of shit can go down.
Hmm.
I don't trust anything anymore. I don't trust that they won't say that, if you are gay married, you are no longer gay married because it's not recognized.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So if,
Well,
especially if you
yeah.
are a couple of the same gender, make sure that your shit is in line and taken care of. All your paperwork, you have all of that. Um, Again, if I wanted to, I could probably marry my partner and no one would look twice. Because she's a cis woman and I am cis passing. I'm cis assumed. So nobody would probably look twice unless they went digging, which they don't really do that much digging. Um, so in that sense, I'm fortunate unless somebody decide to go for a deep dive and find my original birth certificate and then shit could hit the fan. We don't
Gosh,
know.
if they take that much time, can they do my family tree?
Seriously. Um,
Mm.
so here's the thing. We got through this once before, and it was a shitty 4 fucking years. I
Hmm.
am not going to sugarcoat anything. The first time around was shit. This is going to be even harder. The fascists are even more emboldened than they were before, and it's they're going to feel like they have free reign now,
Oh, they
especially
already
since
do.
they
Oh,
already
they
do, but it'll be
already
even more
do.
so. We have literally put a fascist dictator. in office again, someone who is endorsed by the KKK and white supremacists. Um, so I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Um,
And Project 25, even though he has said over and over, I don't endorse
bullshit.
that, has verbatim said words from
Right.
that document
Right.
in his
Yeah. It's,
speeches.
I don't believe anything that he says. Nothing. Make sure that you have a bubble of friends, family, chosen family. That bubble is important right now. That support system is going to be very much needed. And I'm going to I'm going to say this, don't stop living. Don't stop doing what you do. Don't
Hmm.
stop enjoying things. You know, even if you look at accounts from World War II in countries that have been, you know, completely destroyed by bombs, even in internment camps and concentration camps, people were still able to find bits of joy in their days.
Mm.
We're not there yet, but we need
I
to
feel
make
like we
sure
just hit
that
the disappointment button.
eh, we need to make sure that we continue to survive. We have survived for eons. You know, we have been through the hate and the violence. We have done this. This is not our first rodeo. We have done
Hmm.
this before. This is not the first time that they have come for our people, our community. And this is not the last time that that this has happened. This has been a constant thing in so many countries, in so many places for hundreds and
Decades.
thousands of years. It just is. And we will continue to survive, but if we only if we don't let them break us. And I know how fucking hard that is. I know how fucking hard it is. I know that it is so easy to just be like, well, I'm done. I get it. But we can't let them do that. We have to survive. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm
Well, neither
not.
am I. Um,
I you know, the those of us that can will keep doing this because
mhm,
somebody has to. And if I have to like drag people kicking and screaming to the finish line, whatever the fuck that looks like, then that's what I'm going to do.
mhm.
Because even if we fall, even if we trip, even if we stumble, even if shit is fucking awful, we have to survive. We have to. We
Amen,
have
amen.
to. This is not an option. Failure is not a fucking option. Um so that being said, I do have some resource and support numbers and stuff. We'll post this on our page as well. But if folks need someone to talk to, if you need that support, the Trevor Project is available. Their number is 212-695-8650. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 988 from your phone. It's just 988. Send it. Sage LGBTQ Elder Hotline is 877-360-5428. The Trans Lifeline is 877-565-8860. And the LGBTQ National Youth Talk Line is 800-246-7743. Um, Make note, if
Screenshot
you
this.
screenshot it. If you have anybody that needs access to these numbers, that look like they need help, that are in an area where they have no one to talk to or they feel alone, please make sure that you know that they know that there are resources that are available to them. um
Mhm.
because this shit is, you're gonna, if you need somebody, nobody is going to judge you for that. um there are a lot of um, like healthcare providers that will do like mental health on a sliding scale. things like that. So there are things out there, there are resources. Please use them if you need them.
Um, Also, I saw somebody say, because there are some employers that cover, like, mental health,
Hmm.
um, especially in times like this when there's, like, a big need. Sometimes, they'll go back to, like, your group,
Hmm.
and the insurance person will, not the insurance person, but the insurance group will consider, like, paying for, like, maybe like 3 or 4 months, but I'm asking for like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
But all jokes aside, there are programs that, and we may see it grow again because this is what happened during the pandemic. Uh,
Hmm.
a lot of the, like, mental health apps and, groups decided, like, okay, we'll figure out a way to pay for this. We just need to make sure that everyone is taken care of.
Right.
But if you're employed, make sure you check with your employer to see what, um, kind of health benefit for mental health you have, because
Right.
I strongly encourage it. Um, and that's one benefit I know I do have that I can lean on if I needed it. If I needed to go to, like, a emergency, like, type situation, that is available to me.
Right.
Um, so I used it during the pandemic. That's all I'll tell you. Because the orange guy got us the first time. I don't know if I can handle it again. Here's the numbers again. I quickly screenshotted that.
Make
Particular.
note. There are other resources, and there may be resources local to you. Um, but again, like I said, if you need access to resources and you're not in Arizona, but you're not sure where to look, um, let me know, and I will try to get you connected with folks, because it needs to happen. Yeah. So, mm,
I mean, I did not do much last night because I usually, usually on Tuesday nights, I get the news, but this week I was kind of not feeling it. If you can't tell, I'm talking more to Freddie, because I was like, "What kind of bullshit is this?" So there was some good things that if you are, uh, we can talk about the some shining moments in the election. Um, so voters here in Arizona, and there was another state. Shit. Um,
I don't
I'll look
remember.
that up in a minute. But there was another state that, uh, enshrine, is that how you say it? Enshrine,
Mhm.
abortion rights in the state constitution. So no more trying to battle it out about that it should be banned unless good old what's his name decides to
Mm.
do that shit again. So I was thoroughly pleased that um, happened. Though this morning the bullshit had already started. Had already started. Um, a mutual friend of ours encountered a person that was outside of a clinic and had a sign that said "Babies' lives matter," and they do. But usually, an abortion is usually not a
No, it's not. And also, if babies' lives matter, then maybe you should also, I don't know,
gun
consider gun
control.
control so that the babies in like schools don't get shot. But, that's just me. What do I know?
So as she's screaming at the camera, I'm
Oh,
just
God.
wondering to myself, like, okay, so you feel this good about protesting in front of a clinic. So when gun control comes around again, because there was an incident just this week,
Mm.
um, are you going to the legislature with that too, or I
No,
just
of
want to make
course not.
sure because
No,
um,
never gonna
m-
happen.
my
Never
baby's
gonna
going to
fucking happen.
school. my babies are in
People are
school,
talking
and I need
about
yeah.
post birth abortions. I'm like, okay, post birth abortions are what's happening to these kids in these schools. That's a post birth
Yes.
abortion.
Yes.
Fucking ignorant assholes.
Mhm. They only care about the unborn babies. Yes, once they're born, they don't care
Yeah,
at
they're
all.
not pro life. They're pro birth. They're anti abortion. They don't care about anything else.
I mean, because if they were pro-life, they would actually care about
Like,
us.
oh, I don't know if they wouldn't bitch about schools giving out free lunches or breakfasts or food to children
Or
that need it.
books. Oh my
Or
god.
books. No, we can't have reading because reading means that, you're going to hopefully at some point become intelligent, learn to think for yourself. Can't have that.
Somebody posted this morning that I woke up on the wrong timeline.
Mm.
Yes. hmm I wish I was in that like universe. Is it
Yeah,
Spider-Man's
I don't know.
universe?
I don't know what this is, but this is somebody hit the wrong button, and I think we're in a weird space time continuum. Somebody done fucked up somewhere.
um, Sarah McBride of Delaware will become the first openly trans person elected to Congress, but I feel
Delaware.
like
Nobody lives in Delaware. I think she's the only person that lives in Delaware.
that's how she just said, "Let me slip in right here. I'll just go
I
live
mean,
in
fan
Delaware."
fucking tastic. Fan fucking tastic. At least we've got something. Like that's something.
But we need. I I followed her on social media because I'm like, wait, we need to watch out for her because you know what I'm saying.
Mm. I hope she goes in there and
Uh,
raises hell.
yeah, plenty to be raised. Your cousin lives in Delaware. One of three
Oh,
people.
there's
Wow,
a third person that lives in Delaware.
wow.
We got a Trader Joe's bag from Delaware and a grab bag. Apparently, there's 3 people in a Trader Joe's in Delaware. 3 people
Does
in a Trader Joe's. That's all we got.
does your cousin know Sarah? Because
Probably. Probably.
what else? California and Colorado voted to remove same-sex marriage bans from their state constitutions.
Uh,
Prop 8, it was
I
still in
thought that
there.
was already done. I thought it
No,
was
it
done
was.
years ago.
n- I read on it, and it's like some weird mumbo jumbo, but they did not remove it from the
Hmm.
Constitution.
Interesting.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Nope. Um, I don't know how to say her last name, but I'm gonna take a shot at it.
Also,
Ange-
Brooks.
okay. Angela also Brooks wins and becomes the first Black senator of another tiny state, Maryland. She's one of three
They have
people.
crabs there,
Oh, oh, the
but the
good
good
kind. Like,
kind. The good
yeah.
kind.
Okay. I was gonna say, ooh, oh, maybe she can do something about that. Um, but I was excited about that. The one that I read last night that I was like, oh, this will make people's hair flip, especially the
Mm.
conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
A former DACA recipient, which is like the Dreamers Act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, which gave like people that were um, what was it? Um, immigrant status, but like they were contributing citizens basically, um, and they got like help from the Obama administration, right? That's where it originated. Um, Cindy Nava, she won a legislative seat. She will raise hell as well.
And I mean, here in Arizona, we managed to save ourselves from Kerry Lake. Thank God.
I don't. Can can she have several seats? Is that
Mm.
possible?
No, we don't want to give her any seats. No fucking
No, not
seats.
seats
No
in
fucking seats
like
for her all. No seats at all for her. No, not at all. She doesn't get
outside.
to sit down. Nope. She didn't get to
Outside.
fucking sit down. No. No seats. No seats for her. No seats for her at
Um,
all in any way. None.
so
No
what she
seats.
reminds me of is like when you don't win a pageant, but you go to the next one.
Right. Like you just keep trying for the same pageant for 20 years, but you just keep kind of slipping lower on the totem pole.
Yeah, and they're like, "Well, go ahead and try this regional. It'll be
Right.
fine.
Right.
Go
Yeah.
try that one."
At least we managed to keep Ruben Gallego in there, Gallego, because God, ugh. I, but that what blows my mind is that we managed to get Ruben Gallego, but didn't
Mhm.
didn't vote.
Mhm.
I
Keep
I don't
going. Mhm.
understand. I
The
don't
confusion is
understand.
there.
Like you would think that, oh, if we're going to vote for, the Trumpster fire, may as well vote for the person that the Trumpster fire endorsed, right?
Oh no.
But they
Oh
didn't.
no.
They we brought in with a good, like, I mean, more than half. The You would think that
For the second
it's
time.
fine. It's fine.
For the second time. You're welcome. You're welcome. Did you want me to put that on the screen? What is this?
What is what? You don't have to put anything.
Oh, I don't know what that Dropbox
I
thing
didn't.
is.
I didn't put
Oh,
that
did I
there.
do that?
You did that. I didn't do that. I don't know what that is.
What is that?
You might want to check what it is before you. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I didn't do it.
Oh, it's yours. It's yours, but it's not related to that.
Oh, what is it?
It's photos of you.
What the fuck? How did that even get there?
I don't know.
That's bizarre.
That would be you.
Oh, no idea what that is or how that even got there. Okay, well, delete that. Thank God it was anything crazy. It doesn't make any sense. What's that even? It's fine. No idea what that is.
And at I had this on the show sheet, uh, and then I deleted like the whole section, and I was like, I gotta have. We have to continue with celebrating our diversity. We have to keep celebrating ourselves because at this point nobody else will, right?
Mm.
So we want to encourage folks because it is Native American or Indigenous People Month. We want to keep that going and make people aware, and encourage people to educate themselves and engage respectfully. I say that because, but I feel like we're preaching to the choir. Respectfully with Indigenous communities, there's so much to learn. There's even small actions that you can take, like sharing resources or donating to Indigenous-led organizations that can make a difference.
Find
And
your local, like, indigenous owned small businesses
yeah,
and go
and
support
not.
them.
I mean, I love Fry Bread, but not just Fry Bread. There are other organizations as well, and some very phenomenal, like cultural presentations are done. I know, especially here in Arizona, we have that,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it open the doors, especially if you have young ones or if you feel like you. I felt like I have not been aware of many things circa 2020 when I learned so much more about even the culture that I thought I knew.
Right.
Mm. With that being said, it is also Trans Awareness Month, especially with the tips that Freddie just gave out. Uh, I encourage you to take action, to support one another, to support your friends, families, um, be an ally to them, educate yourself. Uh, One thing I will say about both groups, do not, because this happened to us during the pandemic, is do not make like one person your library or no, that's not a celebration.
What? Why
What the
are
fuck
there
is that?
balloons now? Where the fuck did the balloons come from?
I didn't even do anything. My hands are down here.
What the hell? Where did the
Anyway,
balloons come from?
celebrating diversity. Do not lean on someone like one person to be your token or
Mm,
go to uh, cultural person. Okay. Um, there is Google, there is uh, organizations, there's museums, there's etc., etc. But do not lean on one person or one group of friends to be your resource.
there are lots of resources out there. And since we all know that trans folks are usually the first people to come under fire, find a trans led organization that is there to help and support other trans folks and maybe donate to them because they're
Yeah,
going to need
let's
it.
start with AZ Typo. I feel like the
AZ
children
Typo
are
for
our
sure
future.
is going to need it. They're the ones that support the Arizona Trans Youth and Parents Organization. And when you have youth that see the shit that are happening and they're like, I don't want to do this. Like they need the support. The family needs the support. So AZ Typo is a good place to start for sure.
Hmm. But I know that being on social media, uh, especially yesterday, there were a lot of organizations that were doors wide open. So even for allies to walk through the door, just all you have to do is ask. That's all I say, right? Um,
What gigs do we have? November 9th, I will be hosting the Queer Center Fall Fest at Newtown. It's gonna be fun. They're gonna have I think they have like a pumpkin decorating contest, bobbing for dildos. There's a baking contest. If you think you can bake,
what? You kind of
I
breezed
got
over that.
robbed
I'm
last
sorry.
year.
There was a name that you said bobbing for what?
Dildos.
Mm.
It's fun. It's really fun to watch. Um, So if nothing else, go and support Queer Center because they're a good organization to support.
I don't even
November
meet them.
15th will be Drag Bingo and Cats. And with me that evening is going to be Justin Sider. Um, so that should be fun. Justin is extraordinarily excited to be doing it.
I'll be screaming at the top of my lungs.
Mm. And then starting on December 13th is my Christmas Carol
Woo!
opening night. Tickets are now on sale. If you go to my profile, you can find the link to purchase tickets and a code to be able to save a few bucks. Um, Dates
Suzette, what's the
November
November?
9th, November 9th at Newtown, Suzette. November 9th for Bobbing for Dildos. Um, We've got Friday the 13th and then Saturday the 14th, two shows. Um, the 16th is industry night, so anybody that is, in the theater community can come. 12/18, which is Wednesday, is going to be Pride night. Then 12/20 is the start of our closing weekend. We have
Is D
12/20.
still on?
I don't know. And then 12/21, two shows on both Saturdays, one at 2, one at 7. So go and do the thing, use my code, get a discount.
I'll think about
Okay, that's fine.
it. If anybody wants to go, I can't go to all of them, obviously, but
And if you're like a friend and you want to go with like a group of us, I'm not in it. I mean, I'm not part of the. Talk to my partner. She's setting up like a night for everybody to go. She's probably gonna try and go more than once. I would also love to have folks there like closing night. That would make me super happy.
my God.
But but honestly, I would love to see just familiar faces whenever. Like I would just love to see it. It's going to be such a good show. I'm very excited about it. Very excited about it. So
Shared, 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 shared,
share all the things.
shared.
Do you have
I think we
anything coming
shared
up
it on
for the
our
show?
page. Um, I I have drag bingo next week. Why didn't I put
Oh,
that on there?
I don't
Uh,
know.
well, I will be at Drink Me Tea Room on November 13th, just before the show. And that starts at 5:30. I need to post about that. I think the week got away from me
No.
because I was worried about some man that wears horrible bronzer all over his face. Um, so yeah, November 13th, I have drag bingo at Drink Me Tea Room. But also get your tickets for drag bingo and cats
Yes, do that.
at the Cat
If there's
Cafe.
any left, I'll have to double check.
Oh, I haven't heard.
Um, so before we sign off for this evening, this may run us just slightly over 9 o'clock, but there's actually a poem that
Who
I
have we
wanted
been
to
worried
read.
about going over time?
I know.
Speak,
That
speak your truth.
is relevant to today, even though it was written in 1956. The poem is
Mm,
called America. It's by Allen Ginsberg. If you're familiar with Ginsberg, he's been on multiple banned books. You know, he writes, he was a queer male man dude who wrote about queer things and was vocal about being very much a leftist and, you know,
mm.
being freaking communist and being sort of anti establishment and, you know, and all the things. And I came across this particular poem and I felt like it was appropriate. So I'm going to end with a poem because I can, because my name is on the show. So,
Oh, is that how it goes? Ooh.
yes. America by Allen Ginsberg. America, I've given you all, and now I'm nothing. America, $2.27, January 17th, 1956. I can't stand my own mind. America, when will we end the human war? Go fuck yourself with your atom bomb. I don't feel good. Don't bother me. I won't write my poem till I'm in my right mind. America, when will you be angelic? When will you take off your clothes? When will you look at yourself through the grave? When will you be worthy of your million Trotskyites? America, why are your libraries full of tears? America, when will you send your eggs to India? I'm sick of your insane demands. When can I go into the supermarket and buy what I need with my good looks? America, after all, it is you and I who are perfect, not the next world. Your machinery is too much for me. You made me want to be a saint. There must be some other way to settle this argument. Burroughs in Tangiers, I don't think he'll come back. It's sinister. Are you being sinister? Or is this some form of a practical joke? I'm trying to come to the point. I refuse to give up on my obsession. America, stop pushing. I know what I'm doing. America, the plum blossoms are falling. I haven't read the newspapers for months. Every day somebody goes on trial for murder. America, I feel sentimental about the Wobblies. America, I used to be a communist when I was a kid, and I'm not sorry. I smoke marijuana every chance I get. I sit in my house for days on end and stare at the roses in the closet. When I go to Chinatown, I get drunk and never get laid. My mind is made up there's going to be trouble. You should have seen me reading Marx. My psychoanalyst thinks I'm perfectly right. I won't say the Lord's Prayer. I have mystical visions and cosmic vibrations. America, I still haven't told you what you did to Uncle Max after he came over from Russia. I'm addressing you. Are you going to let your emotional life be run by Time Magazine? I'm obsessed by Time Magazine. I read it every week. Its cover stares at me every time I slink past the corner candy store. I read it in the basement of the Berkeley Public Library. It's always telling me about responsibility. Businessmen are serious. Movie producers are serious. Everybody's serious but me. It occurs to me that I am America. I'm talking to myself again. Asia is rising against me. I haven't got a Chinaman's chance. I'd better consider my national resources. My national resources consist of 2 joints of marijuana, millions of genitals, and unpublished private literature that jet planes 1,400 miles an hour, and 25,000 mental institutions. I say nothing about my prisons, nor the millions of underprivileged who live in my flower pots under the light of 500 suns. I have abolished the whorehouses of France, and Tangiers is the next to go. My ambition is to be president, despite the fact that I'm a Catholic. America, how can I write a holy litany in your silly mood? I will continue to like Henry Ford. My strophes are as individual as his automobiles, More so, they're all different sexes. America, I will sell you Strophs 2,500 a piece, $500 down on your old Stroph. America is free Tom Mooney. America save the Spanish loyalists. America Sacco and Vanzetti must not die. America, I am the Scottsboro Boys. America, when I was 7, my mama took me to communist cell meetings. They sold us garbanzos, a handful per ticket. A ticket cost a nickel and the speeches were free. Everybody was angelic and sentimental about it. The workers. It was all so sincere. You have no idea what a good thing the party was. In 1835, Scott Nearing was a grand old man, a real mensch. Mother Bloor, the Silk Strikers, Uig Weiblich made me cry once I saw the Yiddish orator Israel Amterplain. Everybody must have been a spy. America, you really don't want to go to war. America, it's them bad Russians. Them Russians, and them Chinamen, and them Russians. The Russia wants to eat us alive. The Russia's power mad. She wants to take our cars from our garages. Her wants to grab Chicago. Her needs a red Reader's Digest. Her wants our auto plants in Siberia. Him big bureaucracy running our filling stations. It's no good. Him make Indians learn read. Him need big black. Ha! Her make us all work 16 hours a day. Help. America, this is quite serious. America, this is the impression I get from looking in the television set. America, is this correct? I better get right down to the job. It's true, I don't want to join the army or turn lathes in precision parts factories. I'm nearsighted and psychopathic anyway. America, I'm putting my queer shoulder to the wheel. Written in Berkeley, January 17th, 1956.
Mm.
I left out one word on purpose.
Ah.
It was said
Mm-hmm.
in the context it made sense, but I'm still not going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
It was yeah. It was a him need big black. It's the N
Uh-huh.
word, a specific N word right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't using it for it to be like derogatory. It was in the correct context of what he was talking about. But I'm still not going to say it because I'm not that person. So
Uh-huh.
so there you go.
You mean you
I will
have
put that in
a
our
moral
Patreon.
compass?
So you'll have it. Hmm.
Wow. It's
Hmm.
amazing. Hmm. And isn't it amazing how I I love hate material like this. How I love how it makes me feel. I love how it makes me feel like I'm not lost in some wilderness somewhere. But I also hate it, and the reason why I hate it and is because um, of why is it like what 60 years later,
Right.
70 years later, and we're still
It's still relevant.
trying
We're
to
still
break
talking about
this.
the same shit.
And now we're afraid to see a woman in power. Now we're afraid to see a woman of color in power. So much is telling on where we are today. But um, thank you for reading that. I just, mm, if that just sums it up, that just sums it up. Because I feel like I am in love, but I hate where we are. And I can't figure it out for the life of me. Um, I hope that those that are seeking from this regime, whatever, get what they're looking for. Because once this is over, I hope that it's over. I hope no
I
more.
I have a feeling and I have a hope that there's going to be a major shift in the next 4 years. Um, because in the next 4 years, a lot of kids that are in high school are going to be able to vote.
Mhm.
A lot of my daughter and her friends, like in the next 4 years will be old enough to vote, and they see this, and they know the damage that this will do. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping that there is a shift within the next few years, and
As am
that
I.
you know
I do, in my heart of hearts, wish that Kamala would have gotten it, but I do wish on the Democratic Party, or if we decide to tear it down and start all over, um, which is not a bad idea.
it all needs to be torn
Um,
down, all of it.
but that they speak to all of the audiences. I think what happens is one or the other happens, and whoever decides to run for this seat needs to be open to all audiences. And I say that objectively. I say that um, through not just a microscope, but a view
Right.
of the whole thing. Uh, it just seems that we decided that, well, we can't really decide. So this is what I. Okay, well, was it really a good choice? Ooh.
And also, I'm going to throw this out there. If you voted for a certain somebody and now you're mad because people are calling you out, that's on you. You waved that privilege high and let people see that you didn't give a shit about anybody but yourself. And I'm also going to tell you, you're probably in the wrong tax bracket to be celebrating right now.
Mm,
So, fuck you,
mm,
disrespectfully. And you can take your privilege and go fuck yourself with it, because that's about the all you're going to get out of this. And
mhm,
people are no longer being quiet. They will call your ass out, and it's not going to look good for you. Your community will shut you out because you have shut them out.
mm,
So
mhm.
we're done playing. We're done with it. We're over it. We're over it.
Um, yeah, it. Let's hope I can sleep tonight, because last night, well, this morning, it was a little hard to like go.
I
And I
know.
haven't hit the point of exhaustion yet.
I would take one of my I would take one of my muscle relaxers, but that'll knock me out too much. I can't. I'll never wake up in the morning. Mm,
Uh,
it's
what
fine.
was the name of the poem?
America.
Okay, that's all you get. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, turn the brains off tonight and resume. We're gonna live life. I do remember, even though the Proud Boys were knocking on my door, basically, I still kept going. Am I a little more cautious? Maybe, but this is my life is a protest. My life is proof of existence to others, because I just I have run into so many people, especially people of color, that have been like, "Thank you for being visible." And
right.
in in this on this side of the curtain, you don't think of that. You think of like, "Oh, I'm gonna get ready and yada yada yada," and we talk trash and bullshit. Um, but then you don't think that as soon as you step forward and you're visible, or you're posting pictures from an event that you attended, you don't know who's looking at that. um Especially when we first started the show, uh the only way that people were able to like sometimes see drag were on the internet. And this is way before RuPaul's Drag Race got all big, and I feel like we could take credit for that. But people used to watch our show, and like it was like they were connecting with us because they were like, "Well, I've never seen a drag queen before, and I've never seen a drag king before." And I'm like, "Well, here we
Right.
are, but we're talking about
Right.
news." And so, like, I feel like we've established that for ourselves, and it was very telling the first time after like our first couple seasons that people were coming up to us and saying like, "Oh yeah, I watch your show," and I'm like,
I was like, really? Wow.
I'm like, "Oh well, damn." And coming to shows because they watched us and they felt like they had a safe place in us.
Right.
So yeah, um, if you can be that for someone, do it, but know your own personal limitations. That's all I'll say from previous experience. If you need to back up for a minute, back up. If you need to take care of yourself, take care of yourself. But we all need to take care of each other. With that said, um, thank you for joining tonight's conversation. We'll be back next week with a special guest. And as promised, I should put things on Patreon, but last night I was too wrapped up um, in the chaos. So I will post on Patreon and then announce it on other channels. Thank you for watching live, and thanks for watching the replay. Thanks for also streaming our podcast. I don't know what number we're at now. I haven't checked our
I have no
downloads,
idea.
but I
I
know
don't have
that we.
access to that.
I I did give you access to it.
I don't
No,
know
no,
how to
no,
use it. I don't know how to
no,
use it.
no,
It's
no,
fine.
no, no,
It
no,
doesn't make any
no,
sense.
no, no. You have access to it. Um, we will see you next week for our Wednesday night conversation. Please share our podcast with those that need it and those that just like it anyway, and they'll need it anyway.
Right.
I know they will. They'll love this. They
Right.
will. They
Right.
love that. And to that,
Right.
good
Good
night.
night.